Am I the asshole for outing my ex as gay to get his mother off my back? It's a long and sucky story, but my 25F, soon-to-be ex, 28M, is gay and hid that from me. I found out because I caught him cheating, and he as much as admitted that he knew he wasn't attracted to me that way, but he wanted kids and a normal life. I don't care that he's gay, but I will never forgive him for leading me on so he could use me to have kids, so it's over, end of story. The problem is that his family are fundamentalist nutjobs except for a few members, and his mother is the interfering mill from hell. Not being related to her anymore is another plus to leaving. His family doesn't believe in divorce, so under the guise of picking up some paperwork and other items I had found that were my ex's, she cornered me about how I'm being childish and marriage is about commitment, forgiveness, and working through problems, etc. It became apparent that my ex didn't tell his family that he cheated. He told his mom that I was divorcing him because we weren't having sex often enough for me. I tried to be patient and explained that he had cheated and that's why. I wasn't going to go into greater detail because I know how his parents are and it's none of their business. MIL's advice, I kid you not, was that men are just that way, and if I wanted to have sex more and for him not to stray, that I should make myself more attractive to my husband and be a better wife. I lost the plot completely. It had been a sad and hard day already, and that was the last straw. Here's where I might be the I told her that the only thing that would make me more attractive to my ex would be a sex change operation, and that I hoped he and his boyfriend adopted her some grandchildren so she could finally shut the hell up about it. Not my finest moment, but she just hit the worst and rawest nerve she could have and I exploded. It's evidently turned into a huge family drama. He's probably going to be disowned, and my ex called sobbing that I've ruined his life out of spite. I don't really know how to feel about it. I do feel bad for him that his parents are such awful people and there were just no good outcomes for him, but I also feel like he made his own bed here, too. Edit a couple things from comments. 1. There is almost no chance of violence. His family are fundies but not violent ones, they're more of the Mormon shunning type. One of his cousin came out and left the church, and after the initial protests they all just stopped talking to him and basically treated him as if he were dead until he was ready to repent or whatever. They're passive-aggressive, repressed, and weird as all get out, but the chances of anyone physically hurting him are extremely low. He's not financially dependent on them and has a more than decent job, so he can support himself easily if they kick him out. 2. He's known he was gay since before he met me, so this wasn't a new discovery or admission to himself. He has a boyfriend that he's been dating since 6 months before we were married. I went through his computer after catching them in the act and kicking him out and found messenger logs and other evidence going back to before he started dating me. He literally set this up so he could have the nice Mormon family on the surface to keep his family happy. That's it. He never loved me at all. I was just the first girl to express a sustained interest. Probably unpopular opinion, but not the asshole. You got pushed into a corner and blamed for the demise of the relationship, which was ultimately because of his dishonesty. You didn't do it maliciously. Also, he wasted years of your life for selfish reasons, and I personally could never forgive that. Edit. Op was being constantly harassed, blamed and basically defamed because her ex blamed her for everything. It wasn't malicious to out him, and he should have taken more accountability for his role in all this. Edit 2. The fact he plainly stated he only married her to have a kid is beyond disturbing and automatically makes him the asshole, no questions asked. You do not dehumanize a person and treat them as a breeding animal for your own purposes because of your hidden sexuality. Inexcusable. Not the asshole. It is a kind and greater good thing to try not to out the person, as it can be physically dangerous, but he also hasn't really earned any kindness from you. He's the asshole that A. cheated and then B. lied about the reason why to his parents, leading to his mom harassing you. And he's also the asshole that was planning on essentially tricking you into a lifelong commitment, while he likely would have been cheating the whole time had he not gotten caught now. So yeah, you are not the asshole. Edit. I'm surprised this is an unpopular opinion. Ha. I still strongly do not believe you're the asshole. Not the asshole. You already know. Action has consequences. He lied to you to have a normal life. He cheated on you. He lied again to his family about the reason for the divorce and made you the villain. So it's on him for how it went. Like you said, he made his own bed. Feel sorry for him, but that's it. He is in this situation because of his own actions. Not the asshole. I see a lot of comments that say there's no reason to out someone, but it's his fault for lying to his family. Like if he owned up to the fact that he cheated and did not want to be with his wife, they probably wouldn't be harassing her. He needed to deal with his family if he wanted her to keep her silence. He lied to her their entire relationship to appear normal, which is an understandable feeling, but do it with someone who wants the same thing. Edit. I don't mean homosexuality is abnormal at all. I'm bi and just didn't add that because I didn't think it was relevant. I just mean normal in their mind. Not the asshole. There were many moments in which he could have defended you. His made-up excuse for the divorce aimed at making you the bad guy in this story. He has shown no respect for you and your feelings. You told his mother the truth and it's sad that she learned it that way, but it isn't your fault that he is a liar. Not the asshole. This man had a boyfriend before evening marrying you, which is terrifying. He was able to hide it. Wanted to use you as an incubator, and for all intents and purposes would have made you share custody of children with his partner. He's been lying to his family longer than he's been lying to you. He could have avoided all this if he just came clean and let the chips fall where they may. He had no business dragging you into this steaming pile. Yes, you blew up his life by outing him, which is obviously shitty, but he blew up your life, your dreams, your future. He already has a second life set up with his partner. You're the one starting from scratch all over again. Not the asshole. His background helps to understand his shitty decisions, but in no way does that make him using you okay. He lost all rights to beg for privacy after he cheated on you, then blamed you for the divorce. Not the asshole. This is my opinion as a gay man who was outed against his will. He used you to try and have a normal life. He already knew he was gay and committed to you and you alone regardless. He lied, and then he cheated. You ended things and didn't say anything until you were backed into a corner. I'm sure you did not mean to put him and it just came out. This is not your fault. X should have known this could happen when he married you. Am I the asshole for calling my brother's wife a neglectful, financially irresponsible wife? My F-32 brother M-36 had a serious accident in his truck 4 years ago, resulting in him becoming disabled and wheelchair-bound. My Sil, his wife, used to be a SAHW. She is currently handling his care and are essentially living off his Social Security benefits payments, which admittedly isn't a lot, but my parents pay for the house's mortgage, so there's enough money to get them by. My Sil and I have never really gotten along, but we stay civil. However, my biggest argument with her happened days ago when she told us she was going to pursue her old job again to be able to earn money. My parents and I were confused. We asked how is she going to go back to work when she has my disabled brother to care for. She told us she is going to hire a carer to handle all my brother's needs, which triggered a very negative reaction in me and my parents. I told her she chose to become a SAHW, but she explained that circumstances change and she had to go back to work she left years ago to be able to provide for herself and my brother, and a carer is better qualified to care for my brother since she feels overwhelmed and exhausted. But I pointed out how a personal carer requires so much money and that her new commitment of a job cannot be put before her husband. I told her it was a bad idea, but she argued that she is in this situation, not me, and she's trying to improve it while I'm judging her from a distance. I told her she was wrong since this is my brother we're talking about and I help with the mortgage, so in response I called her a neglectful, selfish, financially irresponsible wife for throwing my brother's money away on a carer when it's unnecessary and she is available, but she chose to go back to work. She acted shocked and lashed back at me, saying I shouldn't have called her those cruel things and that I should show some empathy. I said I do have empathy for my brother and her too, but now that she's going to pay a carer using my brother's Social Security benefit, then I can't help but feel she's slowly checking out of her own marriage. She got highly offended that I question her love for my brother now that he's disabled and left in a rush after calling me nuts and awful. My mom agreed partially with what I said but told me I went out of line by calling her neglectful, especially since she, Sil, said she's wanting to go back to work to improve her living situation, but my dad is 100% on my side. Was I or was my reaction justified? You are the asshole on every level, Op. How is your Sil neglectful for being willing to pay for a medical professional to do something they're trained for? How is she neglectful for trying to add money into your brother's and her household? If you're so worried about them paying for your brother's care, I expect you or your mom to step up and take him in. I think you are the asshole here. You don't know the ins and outs of this marriage from the inside. At one point you say your parents pay for their mortgage, at another point you say you help with the mortgage. Either way, generally speaking, your assistance does not buy you control over your brother and his wife's life choices. And what I find really interesting here is that at no point do you say how your brother feels about any of this. You are the asshole and an idiot too. Did you not understand that with a job comes money that can be used for the carer? You act like it is her responsibility to be tethered to him at all times simply because years ago she chose to be a stay-at-home wife. That is a lonely, stressful existence. She deserves the chance to leave the house. You are the asshole. She is correct, a carer would be way more qualified to do their job than she is. Also, yeah, it is horrible to care for someone 24/7, especially a close family member. It is so physically, mentally, and emotionally draining. Take some PTO and put yourself in her shoes for however long you can to try and see what it's like. Until you are in her shoes, you may not judge her. It is very wonderful that you help pay for the mortgage. That does not mean you get to say she has to stay home all the time. You are the asshole. She's trying to do what she thinks is right. If you're so worried about money you can take over his care so his money, which are marital assets so is actually their money, can go to something else. She's right. You have no empathy. Judge her all you want. It's your right. But keep it to yourself. You are the asshole. She's a wife not a carer. She is probably overwhelmed and everything else she tried telling you. Social Security isn't a lot and maybe she could get a career and take over paying the mortgage again with going back to work since you obviously hold that over her. She's not trained to be a career so yes a trained carer would probably be better for your brother your sil and their marriage. Wow you are the asshole most definitely. Look at it this way. Would you have said that to her if she was a man? Women are always assumed to just stay at home and care. Children, parents, spouses, caring for someone is incredibly difficult. You never get a break and it's mentally challenging. You are good people for financially aiding them but you can't expect her not to have a life because of her husband's condition. She will most likely still care for him after her hours but she will be able to still be her, and do something for her. She will meet people, make new friends, have a sort of social life. If she completely burns out and chooses to divorce your brother because she couldn't take it anymore, you would also have to take on a carer. You are the asshole. She could divorce your brother and find freedom and happiness in her life and she hasn't. Remember that. She is not bound morally or legally to be your brother's lifelong caretaker but she has chosen to. She is absolutely correct on everything and you are absolutely wrong on everything. She is actually trying to improve on your brother's and her situation because this isn't a good life. She is also absolutely correct in that a trained caretaker would do a better job than her. She may not succeed but she deserves your support and your family's support to try. Am I the asshole for telling my fiancé he doesn't get to name both of our babies? I'm pregnant with twins and my fiancé and I just found out we're having a boy and a girl. We started talking about names the other day. He told me that he really wanted to name the boy baby after himself, first and middle. I wasn't on board at first but after thinking about it I agreed. I told him that for the girl baby I wanted her first name to be my sister's since we're very close and the middle to be my dad's since he passed when I was young. My dad's name isn't really unisex but it's becoming a common girl's name. My fiancé got visibly sad and told me he wanted to name the girl baby after his mom and have the middle name be his dad's name. His dad's name is a unisex name. I told him that I didn't really think it was fair that he got to name the first baby what he wanted and now wants to name the second baby also what he wants. I also said it wasn't fair that my family gets excluded. He said he really wanted to incorporate at least his mom's name. I told him that the girl baby's middle name can be his mom's but then the boy's middle name is going to be my dad's. He said he wanted the boy baby named completely after him though so the baby is a junior. I told him he doesn't get to name both of the babies what he wants. He got upset about this comment and has been standoffish toward me. I don't think that was so awful of me to say but now I'm second-guessing my comment and wondering if I'm an asshole for it. Edit. I feel I need to clear something up that I'm seeing a lot. Quite a lot of people keep telling me to give the kids original names and not name them after someone else. In my family it's very normal to recycle names and name new babies after family members. It's actually considered abnormal if you give your baby an original name. I know this isn't the norm and it's weird for others but like I said, it's normal for us and our family actually loves having recycled names. A few of us love that we have the same names, we don't find it weird and we enjoy it. Every family is different and our families enjoy sharing names. It's fine if you don't agree but that's just how our family is. Not the asshole. Also it is a nightmare paperwise when a kid has the exact same name as their father. My family did this with my brother and it causes so many problems. I highly don't recommend that you do that. Also, my brother started to resent his name due to him wanting to be his own unique person and not a copy of dad. I highly recommend not going the junior route. Not the asshole. The junior tradition is sexist and selfish. Not the asshole, he's being selfish. Both child names should require 2 yes votes. Not the asshole. I presume he thinks they are both getting his last name, too? Why shouldn't one get your last name? And, he got visibly sad when he didn't get his way. It's time for you to start getting visibly sad that he can't respect your feelings. Here's a fair solution. You each choose 2 names. First name choice for one gender results in middle choice for the other. He picks Anne and Brad. You pick Claire and David. You end up with Anne Claire and David Brad, or you end up with Claire Anne and Brad David. Not the asshole. But, you should both be naming them both. Naming kids should be 2 yeses or 1 no. And both parents need to be willing to accept it might not be their first choice. Which means, he can say he wants a junior. You can say, yes, I like that, or, no, I don't like that. But if you agree on it, then that is both of you picking it. I think that having the boy named after him and the girl named exclusively after your family might lead to some favoritism hangups. Not the asshole. Baby names take agreement from both parents. If either parent says no, that name is out. He's being selfish. You're the one doing the hard work here. He doesn't get to name them both after his family. I personally think someone has to have a giant ego to make their kid a junior. It's easily one of the most self-absorbed things I think a person can do. Not the asshole. How insecure is he? Naming his son with both his first, middle and last name would have me running for the hills. Not to mention you're actually the one doing all the work. If anyone was naming both, though it should be a mutual decision, it should be you. What's the ages of you two? No offense, but you guys seem fairly young and are not really working as a team. Also, for what it's worth, the mother fills out the paperwork for the birth certificates of the children she just gave birth to at the hospital, not the fiancé standing by. Unless of course you give the paperwork to him. Your fiancé sounds selfish and immature. You are trying to make accommodations and he just keeps wanting more. Red flag. Am I the asshole for turning down the best man role and disrespecting the couple's wishes? I will provide some context before getting to the actual story. I come from a country where bridal parties like groomsmen and bridesmaids are not a thing. Some younger couples do wedding parties because it's a trend in the West, but it's definitely not something usual in our culture. Best men and maids of honor don't have the same role that they do in American weddings. They have the role of spiritual supporters in terms of religion. Now it's usually just our version of best man and mo in the wedding party, and if either of them is married, engaged or in a long-term relationship, their significant other is expected to sit at the head table along with the bride and groom. It's unheard of here to pair mo with best man and bridesmaids with groomsmen. Everyone is with their own significant other or their chosen plus one. Now my best friend is getting married to his future wife. His wife has never liked my fiancé. Since the very beginning. The reason was that his wife wanted to set me up with her cousin and I rejected her cousin by getting with my fiancé and I ruined her plans. Throughout my 7-year relationship with my fiancé, my friend's wife was doing sketchy things in the beginning to get us to break up, and later she'd just be extremely shady. I put an end to this behavior by speaking to my best friend about his partner's behavior and how she has no right to treat my fiancé like that. Now on to the wedding. The bride decided she wants an actual wedding party full of groomsmen and bridesmaids. She was a very traditional person who always judged that new Western trend, so it came to our surprise how she chose to do that. Later it became clear, when she announced that wedding party will be paired with each other and their SOs will not be their SOs for the day and we'll have to play pretend with the other wedding party members. As a best man she wanted to pair me with the mo, who was no other than the cousin she wanted to set me up with. I was expected to walk with mo, dance intimately with mo, sit with mo during dinner while my significant other would be seated with some random guests she didn't know. Seeing through the bride's intentions, I said that they either change the plan or I'm stepping down because I know what she's trying to do. She always hated that bridesmaid trend, and she always frowned upon it, but suddenly she wants to adopt every single part of American wedding culture out of spite for me and my fiancé's relationship. My best friend said I either take it or leave it, and the bride pulled the "it's my wedding" excuse and said that even if she wanted us to fake kiss with mo, we should be expected to do it out of respect for her wedding day. I said I'm stepping down from the best man role if it means my relationship to my fiancé is disrespected like that. Our friends understand my reasoning of stepping down but still claim I'm the asshole because I'm obligated to respect the couple's wishes no matter what. Not the asshole. Also, the bride is getting the Western tradition wrong. You don't pretend to be in a relationship with the Mo as the best man, and you certainly don't fake kiss. Frankly, even in the States I would turn down this request because it's completely wacky and hugely disrespectful to the fact I'm in a relationship. No one should ask you to act like you're not for a night. She has the Western tradition completely wrong. The only time the best man and maid of honor are paired up is for the walk back down the aisle after the ceremony. They're not treated like a couple during the rest of the celebration. Not the asshole. Her demand is bizarre. Not the asshole. I'm so glad you're standing up for your fiancé. When people ask you, don't even make it about the bride. Simply say you are not comfortable performing the requested tasks, especially the things that require you are somewhat intimate with someone other than your fiancé. Not the asshole. American here. In our custom, walking down the aisle together is quite normal. Pairing for the bridal dance is not uncommon, either. Seating, however, is typically all of the groom's attendants on one side and the bride's on the other, or each person with their own. So you are very correct to refuse this request, as she is obviously manipulating the customs as part of her foolish games. The part about kissing the Mo is especially nonsense, and I've never seen such a thing at any wedding. Not the asshole. If you aren't comfortable, just step down and your friend should understand. No such thing as respect the couple's wishes no matter what. They can have their wishes as long as it doesn't involve you. Not the asshole. You are respecting the bride's wishes. You're just choosing not to be part of them. I do think this should be the first step in ending the friendship. If she can't respect your relationship after 7 years, you need to distance yourself. I would question if she would do something at your wedding to be childish, petty. Not the asshole. In American weddings, people are asked to be in the bridal party and can even decline. I have declined for my own personal reasons and am still close to the couple. Also, your understanding of the bridal party and their expectations are not actually true. So I think you and the wife have a different idea of American weddings and how they occur. I've always been seated with my so. You may have gotten your ideas from movies from the 80s. Nonetheless, you are free to politely decline the invitation to be in the bridal party. That's also a thing that happens here. Absolutely not the asshole. She's getting married, not being made supreme ruler. Unfortunately, you may lose your friend over this, but it sounds like being in their company won't be very comfortable or fun in the future anyway.